My father texted me coldly, "I disown you." All communication through my lawyer. I stared at the words, then I replied with a single cold word. Okay. Then I opened my laptop. I logged into my bank. I systematically canceled every single financial tie I had to them. The $2,500 automatic mortgage payment. The family cell phone plan. The business credit line I co-signed for. 48 hours later, my mom called in panic. Drop a comment and let me know where you're listening from and what time it is for you right now. I'd love to know who's part of our community. My coldness wasn't a phase, it was a conclusion. 48 hours before I was disowned, I received the evidence. My uncle Jeffrey, my father's brother, forwarded me a video. The text just said, "Look at this." He must have meant to send it to someone else. I pressed play. It was a video from a family dinner at my father's house, a dinner I hadn't been invited to. The camera was shaky, but the voices were clear. My Aunt Stephanie was laughing. My father Gregory was holding a beer. "She's a good kid," my uncle said from behind the camera. "Helping you out like this." My father snorted. "She's not a kid, she's an ATM. And a lonely one. She's so desperate for approval, she'd pay for the air we breathe if I asked her to." My brother Brandon chimed in. "It's honestly sad. She thinks sending Dad money makes her important. But she's still just, Lakeland." I watched my father raise his glass in a toast. To my personal ATM. They all laughed. I didn't cry. As an auditor, my job is to find the rot beneath the pristine ledgers. And I had just audited my own family. The numbers were staggering. 4 years ago, my father's restaurant supply business had faltered. He was days from foreclosure on the house I grew up in. He and my mother, Melissa, had called me weeping. "You're the only one who can help Lakeland. You're the responsible one." So I did. I agreed to cover the $2,500 mortgage payment every single month. For 4 years. I did the math in my head. That was $120,000. 4 years ago, my father's restaurant supply business had faltered. He was days from foreclosure on the house I grew up in. He and my mother, Melissa, had called me weeping. "You're the only one who can help Lakeland. You're the responsible one." I did the math in my head. That was $120,000. You have to understand the invisible chains of the survivor. When you grow up as the scapegoat, you learn that love is transactional. Your worth is measured by your usefulness. You don't get affection, you earn a temporary pause in the hostility. Paying that mortgage wasn't generosity. It was a tax. It was the price I paid for peace. It was easier to send the money than to endure the screaming, the manipulation, and the weaponized guilt of not caring about the family. I know what you're probably thinking. Why would you do that for so long? Why would you let them treat you that way? And the cruelty from the video, that was the trap of normalized cruelty. In families like mine, everyone has a role. Brandon was the golden child. He could do no wrong. His failures were just bad luck. My failures were character flaws. I was the scapegoat, the one who existed to absorb the family's problems and their anger. They weren't just being mean. They were reinforcing a system that had worked for them for 30 years. And I was done being their ATM. My phone was silent for exactly 48 hours. Then the panic began. It rang on Tuesday morning just as I was pouring my coffee. My mother, Melissa. I let it ring 3 times, watched her name flash on the screen, and then I answered. I put it on speaker. "Lakeland, what did you do?" Her voice wasn't calm. It was a high-pitched shriek, thin with disbelief. "The bank just called your father. The mortgage payment was rejected. It's due today, Lakeland. You need to fix this right now." I waited until she had to take a breath. "I was disowned, Melissa," I said, my voice as flat as the countertop. "All communication goes through my lawyer." What lawyer, Lakeland, don't be." I hung up. My phone immediately exploded. It was a digital avalanche of their entitlement. A text from my brother Brandon. "You're pathetic. Dad is ruined because of you. You better fix this." Another one from my Aunt Stephanie. "Your mother is hysterical. Whatever childish game you're playing, you need to stop it immediately and apologize." Childish. Game. They were still reading from the old script. They thought this was a tantrum. They thought I was a child throwing a fit to get attention. They didn't realize I was an auditor calmly closing their books. I didn't reply to a single text. I didn't answer a single call. I just opened my laptop. I drafted a new email. My hands weren't shaking. As an auditor, I had sent hundreds of cold, factual emails. This was just one more. The recipient list was long. My entire extended family, my Uncle Jeffrey who sent the video, my Aunt Stephanie who laughed in it, my cousins. And most importantly, I added several prominent members of their community, the same people who sat on the board of the community medical fund my father managed. The subject line was simple: financial support for Gregory. What lawyer Lakeland don't be. To all, as I have been formally disowned by Gregory as of Sunday night, this email is to notify you that my ongoing financial support has concluded. For the sake of full transparency, I have attached a ledger of the support I have provided over the last 48 months, which totals $120,000. I have also attached a short video from a recent family gathering, which I feel provides the necessary context for my decision. Sincerely, Lakeland. Attachment 1: Mortgage, Payments, Ledger, $120K. PDF. Attachment 2: Family Dinner, ATM, MP4. I looked at the attachments, the cold, hard spreadsheet, the hot, humiliating video, facts, and feelings. My finger hovered over the mouse. This wasn't just ending an argument, this was detonating a reputation. I thought about the word ATM. I thought about them laughing. I clicked send. The email detonated the family. The real one, not the performance version I had always known. The first response wasn't an apology, it was an attack. Within hours, I received a formal-looking email from a law firm I didn't recognize. It was a cease and desist. It accused me of defamation, harassment, and tortious interference with my father's business. It said I had acted maliciously. It threatened a lawsuit of $75,000 unless I immediately issued a public retraction and a formal apology. They were threatening to sue me for exposing the truth. They thought a scary letterhead would be enough to make me crawl back, delete the post, and apologize. I read the letter once, then I laughed. I didn't just have suspicions, I had receipts. I didn't get scared. I got a lawyer. I forwarded the email to a family law attorney in Denver, a woman with a reputation for being a shark. I explained my situation. She was, to say the least, intrigued. They're bluffing, she told me over the phone. Defamation requires the statements to be false. You have a $120,000 spreadsheet and a video of them admitting to the behavior. They don't have a case. I know, I said, but I'm not just here to defend myself. I want you to launch a counter-investigation. As an auditor, I've always had suspicions about my father's books. He always claimed things were sloppy. I think sloppy was a cover for something else. What are you thinking? He manages a small community medical fund for an elderly neighbor, Mrs. Harrison. She's battling cancer. The family set it up, and my father volunteered to manage the accounts. I've seen the paperwork he filed. It's creative. My lawyer was silent for a moment. I'm on it. She called me back 2 days later. Her voice was grim. Lakeland, it's exactly as you suspected, but it's worse. How much worse? He didn't just borrow from the fund, he systematically embezzled from it. Over the last 3 years, he has siphoned $60,000 from that woman's medical fund, stealing from a cancer patient, while taking $2,500 a month from his own daughter. My blood ran cold. This wasn't just a family dispute anymore. This was a serious crime. The revelations didn't stop. The email I'd sent had woken up ghosts. That night, I got a call from my cousin, Natalie, Aunt Stephanie's daughter.